Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be drawing characters from the popular RPG open world game Genshin Impact in my style. I'm also going to be drawing them in a modernized AU, so that includes redesigning their clothes and aesthetics, which is super fun, so let's get started. The first character I'm drawing is Sangonomiya Kokomi. She is the divine young priestess of Watatsumi Island, which is located in Inazuma. That means that if you play the game, she's basically part of the Archon quest revolving the Inazuma region, which I think is the third Archon quest. For me personally, my favorite Archon quest was probably the Liyue one, because I played it when I was still relatively new to the game, and I also loved the overall storyline of it, seeing that it was super easy to follow in comparison to the other ones, which fit my short attention span. I also did love the Inazuma Archon quest, but mainly for like the visuals, because Inazuma as a whole is just so pretty. Maybe I am a bit biased though, because its aesthetic is very purple, which is my favorite color if you couldn't tell based on my channel. Anyways, going back to the drawing, for Kokomi's design, I wanted her to be wearing like streetwear clothes or like baggy clothing, definitely not like form fit, I guess. I feel like another route that I could have gone with her design though is for her to be wearing like super pretty pastel dresses that are like pink and blue or white maybe, with like a bunch of frills and ruffles, which definitely would have been adorable, so I'd love to try doing that. For both these pieces, I also did think that it would be a good idea to experiment more with perspective and anatomy, though I did think that my anatomy did look better for like the second character because her clothes were a lot more tight-fitting, and I think I did take my time more with like figuring out what like arm goes where and how the legs are supposed to fit, but I still did like how this drawing came out. I found the references on Pinterest, by the way. Here is the one that I used for Kokomi and her outfit. I think drawing Genshin characters in like more modernized clothing is really fun because it still captures the character's like overall vibe, but also you don't have to spend 2 hours sketching and rendering all the details for their clothing pieces. In fact, the clothes are so complicated that I actually have multiple drawings that I've literally abandoned right before the rendering phase because I really didn't want to spend like a bunch of time cleaning up all the details, which I already spent sketching and doing the line art for. If you have seen Genshin Impact character designs, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it really does impress me how Hoyoverse like created these character designs to begin with. Like literally everything about each character is just so unique, from their hair to their facial features to obviously their outfits. I really wonder how the designers were like able to come up with the outfit ideas too, and like what they base their inspiration on. I think I can probably find that if I Google it, but yeah. I feel like whenever I design characters, they're always super basic, and the only features that really make them stand out is their hair color, which you can see right now with my OCs Maya and Rue. I am working on incorporating more ethnic features like into my OCs or characters, so they don't all look the same and their faces like appear more diverse, I guess, but it's definitely a work in progress to try and fit that into my art style instead of making it like directly copied off of references, if that makes sense. Anyways, going back to the drawing, I love the colors for this drawing. Kokomi's hair is like meant to be this pink to blue gradient, which is like pastel, so I figured that I should probably match it with like a more neutral color and not many dark colors, because then her hair would like really pop out a lot. So I did make the shirt like an off-white sort of color, and then I made the pants blue, which I think they could also be like jeans or something, but I didn't end up adding texture to them. Basically just match her hair tips, which are obviously blue, as you can see. I also did find the shirt design on Pinterest, like I mentioned before. I didn't want the shirt to be like plain because I feel like that would have been super boring, especially considering the pants didn't have anything going on there. But I also didn't want it to be like super complicated and just take over the whole drawing because I knew that wouldn't look that good. But I did see this design and I thought that was cute. It's just like these two, I think it's a bear and a bunny hugging each other. One of them's brown and one of them's pink. I thought it was cute, so I just drew it on, and then I warped it slightly so that it looks like it's on a shirt and not on a flat surface. Also, designing the soda can that she's holding was such a struggle, not because it was hard or anything, but because I had too many ideas on how to do it, and I also didn't know like which one to pick to use. I copied the majority of like the design structure for the soda can off the reference, but I added like little bubbles and the name of the brand, which is actually meant to be Bubbles or something, because in the game Kokomi has a Hydro Vision, which is like water. As you can see, I am rendering like the drawing now. Basically, when I'm rendering for the clothes, I basically just go in and sharpen all the edges, because while I am just adding the base colors, I usually just do soft shadows with like gradients or whatever. So then when I'm rendering, I can go in and add more hard shadows, which will basically just make the piece look like a lot better and have more like a three-dimensional sort of look to it. Also, I did have to go in and render the shoes, which, speaking of which, I literally never draw shoes on characters anymore. I feel like I used to when I used to do like full body drawings earlier in like 2020 and 2021, but after that I slowly transitioned to just doing like bust shots of characters, so I completely forgot how to draw shoes or different types of shoes or like boots or whatever. So I am slowly trying to get back into it with both this piece and the next one, but yeah. For finishing touches, I added chromatic aberration slightly, not too much or else the drawing would have looked really weird. And I also used the perspective blur tool, which like focused all like the stuff on her face, but then it made the surroundings more blurry. And I also increased the overall saturation of the piece, which is something that I do tend to do for all my drawings. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it for Kokomi. I love how this drawing came out. It's definitely like one of my favorite drawings that I've done digitally so far this year. But yeah, now we're moving on to the next character. So the next character I'm drawing is going to be Yae Miko, who oversees the Grand Narukami Shrine in Genshin Impact and also owns the Yae publishing house. I just realized both of the characters I'm drawing in this video are from Inazuma and are Catalyst users in the game. But yeah, let me know if you guys do want to pause this video for my digital art, by the way. I know I did one like a year or two ago, but that one's very outdated, especially for my current digital art process, so yeah. Anyways, going back to the drawing, I again found my reference from Pinterest for both the outfit and the pose. I actually really like this pose. I feel like drawing perspective poses is just so much fun, especially after you like learn the basics of anatomy or like human anatomy, so it just makes it a lot easier. I feel like Yae's aesthetic would be very like grunge but also soft. Like she would definitely wear the black and pink outfit combination in like most of her outfits, which is what I gave her here. I actually had multiple outfits picked out for her and I did have a hard time like deciding what I wanted to do, but I did end up picking this one just because it matched the most with the pose, and the other one she was like wearing a skirt, which would have been hard to like draw with this pose idea. I realize now that she also kind of gives off like Sanrio vibes, like Kuromi sort of, except instead of purple it's pink. Anyways, the face does look super rough right now, just ignore that. It'll look better after I render the eyes later on, but I feel like right now she does look very cross-eyed. Low-key, this video was like very random. Like I did both of these drawings earlier, but not for this video specifically. A lot of people have been requesting me for more digital art content on my channel, especially since I did my last live stream, so I thought I'd just put them together for this week's video. Also, if you noticed during the coloring bit, I did change the background color to gray. I know a lot of artists do tend to do this. I didn't start doing it until like a month ago. But it definitely helps a lot. I think when I used a white background, like when I was doing the base colors for all my characters, it was definitely a lot more eye strain, but also I struggled with finding the right mid-tone for all my drawings, since if I used a white background, all the colors that I then used would be super light. This was definitely a struggle, especially when I was doing more drastic lighting for pieces. Anyways, gray backgrounds just help a lot when I don't know what the background color should be for the piece that I'm drawing, but if I do know the background color for the piece, I'll just add that as the color, so it'll save me time when I'm adding in the effects like the multiply layers or add layers or stuff like that. I think next week I'm going to be doing a drawing your OCs video, since so many people have been requesting that, which I get since it's been so long since my last one. So make sure to email your OC to me to hersheydrawsyt@gmail.com with OC in the subject so I'm able to find it. I think if this video does end up doing well, I will be doing more digital art content, especially since school for me is starting literally next week, which is crazy. But digital art videos do take less time for me to do than traditional art videos, since I don't have to like edit them and speed them up a lot, since they're already in speed paint form from Procreate, and I'm drawing them for Instagram already, so yeah. Oh, speaking of which, the app that I'm using is Procreate, and I am using my iPad, I think 6th generation or something. It's not an iPad Pro or anything, but it does the job well. And I'm also using an Apple Pencil as the stylus, which I definitely recommend. Going back to the drawing, rendering is definitely my favorite part of digital art because I can see the drawing really come together like right now. I don't know how to explain my rendering process since it's different from piece to piece, and also like each element of each piece. Like the way that I render clothes is typically different from the way that I render the skin or the hair. But I'd like to think of it as cleaning up my line art, which isn't really line art in this case. It was literally just my sketch that I already spent like doing. I just spent 2 minutes cleaning it up beforehand. It also really helps the lighting that I add look more natural, since I usually add it right after adding the base colors, and rendering the hair is definitely the most satisfying part for all my drawings. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this drawing of Yae Miko. I added chromatic aberration and perspective blur to make the drawing look more complete, and I also added the grain filter this time, but yeah. I love how both of these drawings came out. Comment down below which one was your personal favorite, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!